All right, we have time for one more. We've got one more. All right. So this last song is a very well-known song. Um, it is originally Irish, but has been sung by many, many people from a variety of traditions and backgrounds. And it is called The Parting Glass. And it is a pretty appropriate song given that many of us in the commission and just in general are moving on to new things and better things than we have been experiencing in these past couple months. So, our last song of our set together is The Parting Glass. Of all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done, for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Of all the comrades that e'er I had, they sorry for my going away, and all the sweethearts that e'er I had would wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and I'll softly call, good night and joy be with you all. A man may drink and not be drunk. A man may fight and not be slain. A man may court a pretty girl and perhaps be welcome back again. But since it has so ought to be, by a time to rise and a time to fall, come fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Good night and joy be with you
Fantastic. That was beautiful. Beautiful tunes, beautiful singing. Thank you both. So we have had a little technical difficulty here at the very start. So we're gonna do a little bit that we started with, and then resume the program as planned. So if you didn't hear this part, I'm Mark Sustic, director of Young Tradition Vermont. This is what we're doing here. And I was just going to say a few things here about the commission and its sort of origins, and we'll hear more about it from Romy Munkris. The commission is led by Romy. She was it also includes her brother Ben Munkris, Hadley Stockwell, Fern Tamagini O'Donnell, and Abigail Sandy, who you just saw performing with Sebastian West. When the touring group went to Scotland in April 2018, we came back inspired, of course, not only by the people and the places we visited, but several of the amazing programs and practices that they use to support young people who are interested in trad music and dance, and tried to create some kind of version of them here in the U.S. We started our visit with visiting a residential high school in Plockton, which is just across the bay from Isle of Skye. We all would have been perfectly fine spending the rest of our time there, but we proceeded up to Orkney and then down to Edinburgh and lots of places in between. Equally amazing was a commissioned artist program, and I came back and the organization was committed to and determined to do something similar here in Vermont. And so we started last summer with Romy being selected as the commissioned artist, and we got some support from the Nelson Family Foundation and launched it. And we'll be doing the same thing again next year with a different group and a different commissioned artist. More about that another time. We had big plans for the group this year, but all of that came to a screeching halt because of the coronavirus, as it did for most everything else. We were going to do a bunch of concerts and festival appearances, and have the group be the ambassadors for Young Tradition Vermont. So we had to set that aside. But the folks who are involved in this concert tonight persevered and are determined to do this online concert as a final performance. And they also have a CD in the works. They're working with Colin McCaffrey on putting together. Hopefully we'll see something about that around the end of the summer. There is some opportunities to make a contribution, and I'll see if I can get the screen up here. If you are interested, we'd certainly encourage you to make a donation at the PayPal site you see there, or if you have a phone, you can scan the image there and make a contribution. All of the proceeds will be used to support the CD project I mentioned. And if all of that fails, you want something else to some other way to contribute, you could just leave a message on the Facebook page you're on now. And more about some of that later. I'll say a few things at the very end. So we're going to start where we're going to resume it, but start where we started with a video that the group made in preparation for this concert. As long as I can whip it up here, we will watch it. Of course, it's disappeared again. I'm going to look for it here and see if we can't get it going. All right. And I'll leave the explanation for later. All right, here we go.
That tune was, we learned it from Alex Kaler. It's a polska called Polska i Smolensk Tradition. Alex Kaler is an artist from Quebec, and he worked with us mid-December, and it was really fun to work with. So, great. My name is Hadley, and I will have Maeve Fairfax joining me on a set towards the end. She has been selected to be the commission artist next year, so she will be leading the group next year. I'm going to start with a tune called Tamlin, and then I will go into Brenda Stoubert's, which I learned from Andrew Beaton. So next I will be playing a tune I learned from Beatrix Mette on a Zoom call with the Young Tradition Touring Group. And I'll be following that with a tune I learned from Pascal Gem called Relais Loose. So next, Maeve and I will be playing Maggie West, which is a waltz we learned in preparation for our trip to Scotland in 2018, 2019? 2018. All right. All right, thank you for listening, and I'm going to hand this over to Fern.
Okay, cool. So, I am going to play first. I'm French. And first I'm going to play Wait, Redemption, which means the black woman. Okay, sorry, sound isn't back yet. Okay, never mind. Alright, so next, let's play a, what did we say? So sorry. So next I'm going to play a set of Irish reels. First one is called, the second is called. Okay, so next, for my last set, I'm going to say a tune that CD I have called For the Diamond by the King Sisters. It's just a cover. So, it's called Krishna, and it's a slower piece. So. Hello again. If you did not catch us earlier, I am Abby Sandy, playing guitar with the commission. I am joined tonight by the incredibly talented Sebastian West, an alumnus of the Young Tradition Touring Group. Because of some technical difficulties, our set at the beginning of the show got a little bit cut off, so we're just going to do the first set that we played real quick for you guys right now before we pass it off to Romy and Ben. So this is L'air Mignon, which we got off of an EMAR record, a Glasgow-based band, going into the Dairy Reel, which is an Irish reel. It off to Romy and Ben.
Hello, we are Romy and Ben Munkris. I was gonna ask everyone to give Abby and Sebastian and Fern and Maven Hadley a big hand, but we can't really do that. So, I don't know. Maybe you can all give them a hand in your homes. Maybe you can donate a little money so that we can try our best to make a CD. Just give us money to make up for it. Ben and I are gonna start off with a set of 2 slip jigs that I learned from an Irish fiddler named Athena Tergis, I believe, and the second one is written by Natalie McMaster. next we are going to play you a Swedish schottish. If you know me at all, you should know that I have, in the last couple years, gotten very into Scandinavian music, especially Swedish music. So we're going to play you a schottish I learned from Lena Jansson.
Next up, we're going to be playing a waltz called Bighorn River Sunset that we learned off of an album by a band named Contratopia.
So before we play our last set, I'm going to talk a little bit about the commission and the project that we've been working on this year. So my project that I wanted to do was to explore the different traditions, um, mostly that there's a fiddle playing the music since I play the fiddle. But even instruments where it's more predominantly accordions or nickel harpas. Um, I wanted to learn more about those traditions and about the ways that they sort of interact with each other and the way the different types of music are similar and different. So I asked some musicians to work with us who play and are very knowledgeable about traditions of music that are less commonly like known and played in Vermont. And so, as you heard earlier, we had Alex Kaler come down from Quebec and teach us some Swedish tunes. We had Jeremiah McLean teach us some French bourrées, which you will hear after Ben and I are done. We also had Joanne Garton teach us some Scottish tunes, and we had Pete Sutherland teach us some American old time tunes. And through all of that, we learned about the different traditions that we were playing the tunes of and sort of how they came to be. So if you're interested in learning any more of that, maybe you could buy our CD when it comes out. I don't know about the end of the summer, but hopefully into the fall we'll have something ready. Yeah, so that's about the commission a little bit, and Ben and I are gonna finish off with a set of 2 Scottish reels. Would you talk about them a little bit? Just say the names. I have to switch fiddles back.
Okay. The first tune is a tune called Lust from a band called Rura, I think, right? Okay. And the second one is called Dot the Dragon's Eye. And who's that from?
Hanukkah Castle.
It's from Hanukkah Castle.
I'd also like to thank Mark Sostick and Young Tradition Vermont for putting on this concert for us. Yeah, big hand for them. Doesn't sound so big, but I trust you're all clapping. Yeah, so Ben and I are going to play you some reels. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now back to Mark for one last video of the entire commission virtually playing together.
All right, thanks, Ben and Romy. That sounded great. I'm going to get you off the spotlight here. So next up, we're going to, once I can get this set up, we're going to hear Boré, and there it is. And then we'll come back for just a few comments at the very end. And thanks for sticking with us here. To make sure my mic is on. All right, that was great. Thank you. So this is everybody on the screen together. Thanks again for being part of this, including folks all around Vermont. I want to let you know that the concert stays on the Facebook page, so you can go back there, you can send people there. I'll also make sure that it's on the Young Tradition Vermont YouTube channel within the next 24 hours, and you can share it that way for the folks that don't do Facebook for whatever reason. So thanks, Romy, especially for being as the commissioned artist, and also to Ben, Hadley, Fern, and Abby, and to Maeve and Sebastian for joining in tonight. Without them, of course, this whole thing wouldn't have happened. I want you to be sure not to be shy about the contributions. And if you're watching this, you can see, you can go to PayPal and do that. Or if you've got a scanner on your phone, you can just scan that little icon and make the contribution there. And maybe we can get everybody's there, can wave. Thank you for being here. We'll see you all next time around. I hope everybody has a good night. Be well, stay that way. See you soon.